consistency is the key to success. We can do really small tasks daily, and if we consistently do that, by the end of a year, by the end of a season, it will have been a build up into something big. You are listening to Moms in Business, where I help creative mompreneurs gain clarity and confidence by turning their passions into profitable, organized businesses free from tech overwhelm. I'm Samantha Welch, a homeschool mom and creative business strategist who turned my photography passion into a thriving business while balancing family life, and now I'm here to help you do the same. I know as a busy mom, your time is precious, and that's why my episodes are designed to maximize your productivity and help you make the most of every moment you have to build your business. So whether you're folding laundry, dealing with a pile of never-ending dishes, or in the car, I'm excited to be here and help you take your business dream to the next level. Well, welcome to another episode of the Moms in Business podcast. I'm super excited that you guys are here and ready to learn. I'm super excited to dive into the topic of how to build and maintain consistency in your creative business. This is such an important thing because consistency is the key to success. We can do really small tasks daily, and if we consistently do that, by the end of a year, by the end of a season, it will have been a build up into something big. So it's very important that we maintain consistency. However, consistency is so hard, and I know that balancing a creative business and family and all the other things that you have going on can feel like such a juggling act. So we're going to dive into some powerful strategies that have worked for me, and I hope that you will see yourself in this on ways to maintain consistency or to get back into consistency. So we're going to talk about 3 things. We're going to talk about establishing routines, regaining consistency, because a lot of us have been consistent at one point or another, and then batching tasks for efficiency. So I can't wait. And I do realize that I may be one of those really weird people that get totally excited when we're talking about consistency and being able to use the little time that we have, that precious time that we have, and make it go into something big. So if you're not near as excited about consistency and maintaining a routine and a rhythm throughout your days in order to get all your stuff done, then I'm just going to be excited for both of us. And I hope that you will at least come away with some practical ways that you can apply this, even if you're not super excited about it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is getting into a routine. And routine, especially for us that are creative business owners and just creative people in general, routine can be something that seems to be kind of a boring and dull thing. It's kind of like I wake up every day and I'm not entirely sure I just want to do it all the exact same way every single day. Like I like to mix and match and have some creativity throughout the day. And that's really been something that I have been trying to balance, especially since I've become a mother and a business owner, where I want to keep things fresh and keep it exciting so that I'm not bored with a routine, but also have enough of a routine that I'm actually effectively getting things done. So a few things that I have found that help me are actually nailing down a morning routine. So yes, that boring thing that you do every single morning, but I have found that this is extremely helpful for me just getting the right start in the day. So the first thing that I personally do that helps me just really get into that kind of rhythm of the day is I get up, I get my husband off to work, and then I go and immediately make my bed so that I don't go back and lay down, because once I'm up, I need to stay up in order to be my best self as far as getting stuff done. And then I immediately go and I fix my hair and I get dressed, and I actually fix my hair and get dressed. And so even though I stay home with my kids and I'm not probably going anywhere that day, I will still make myself presentable so that when I look in the mirror, I have that feeling of, oh, okay, great, I'm put together. And then that makes me feel like my day is more put together. And so I have a strict rule for me personally that I don't lounge around in my pajamas and I don't do messy buns. And I know that's going to go against some of you, and you guys lounge and do your messy buns. That is fine. But for me and for personally my productivity, I need to be put together in order to feel like that I can continue my day in a put together manner. The next thing I do every single work morning without fail after I get myself dressed and put together is I have devotional. So I spend time in my word. I will get my planner out, which kind of doubles as my journal, and I'll write down my prayers and my praises and what I'm planning to do that day, and I will just line everything out, and I will transfer any sort of appointments or activities that are on my Google Calendar, and I'll put them in my planner, and I will have just a time where I just kind of meditate on God's word, pray over my day, have what I'm thankful for, and then that just gets me into this mindset of putting what's important first. And so that right there, if I don't get that time, my day ends up being like a total hot mess. And I just feel like that I'm just running and bouncing off a wall. So I have to have that time where I get my mind on the things that I should have it on, and I actually plan everything out in order for me to have any sort of productivity. It's kind of like that idea of dreams without a plan don't get accomplished, and so I have to have a plan for my day in order to accomplish it. The last and final thing that I do as just a boring everyday routine that's not very exciting is that I go and I get all of the dreaded tasks done first. So that means that if it's laundry day, I go and I just get all the laundry done. I just go ahead and fold it. I just do that, get it done. I'll make sure the main housework is done, like the cleaning the bathroom, all that stuff, things that you just have to do to maintain and keep up with the home. I will knock those out. Sometimes I'll set a timer in order to do it quicker, or I will just go room for room and just get it done as quick as possible because those are like my least favorite tasks. But I also find too that if I will get those least favorite, not fun tasks done, and I will just do them every day and keep that on that maintenance mode, then I don't have to turn around and do like a full revamp of something because I have just maintained it and just invested like that little bit, like 30 minutes to an hour at the first of my day to get it done. And then it's actually not something that I'm then having to plan out like half a day to get it back to the way it should be. So maintaining the dreaded tasks is something I have found to be so important when it comes to just being productive and actually getting done what I want to get done instead of just always spending time on things that I don't want to do. And so, yeah, other than that, I don't have a strict step-by-step routine that I do every single day. I do those morning things and I get that all done, and then I have the creative freedom to say, okay, so today I have photography work, and so I'm going to work on my photography stuff and I'm going to do that, and then, or I'm going to work on my podcasting, or I'm going to work on this. And then I will just kind of start working on that. And then I homeschool, so I intertwine school with that kind of work. And then it allows me to have a little bit more of that creative freedom because someday I'm like super inspired to batch record and I have like all these ideas for podcast stuff. And then other days it's like, okay, I've got to get all this editing done and everything. And so I kind of keep that flexible. And then also just real life, we have stuff that we have to do outside of our business all the time. Like if it's someone gets sick that day, that totally messes up any kind of routine, when I've had just like the strict routine, it's totally messed that up for me, and then it will throw me off. And or just like, on our farm during harvest season, like that's a whole different routine. So it allows me that kind of freedom after that strict morning routine. And that strict morning routine doesn't take that long. It takes maybe an hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours max. But something else that I probably should mention is that I also get up really early, and so I do think that helps me to have more of that rhythm that I want to keep throughout my day, and helps me to get a good start so that I'm up before like all the chaos happens when my kids get up, and then all of a sudden my attention is turning to them and their needs and what needs to happen with them, because they're my number one priority, and then it's all of my other stuff. So hopefully that was helpful, and then you can just take those ideas and apply that to things that are really important to you. What are some things that you need to do the first thing when you wake up, first thing in the morning, that just really sets your mind into having that productive day that gets you on that right track? And that's just going to look different for everybody. So I just encourage you to take a day, see what you're already doing, see what works, maybe even give yourself a week and then look and see, what day did I feel like a better version of myself? What day did I get stuff done better? And then look and see, how did I start that day? What were some things that I implemented that helped me where that day felt that way? Okay, the second thing, and I feel like this is not talked about a ton, because we always do hear the people who are like, oh, here's your schedule, here's your routine, here's what you need to do every single day. Put all your times out, have your time block, do all this stuff. And I think that it's not addressed of what do you do when you've been consistent, but then you fall off the wagon and you need to get back on track. So the first thing I want to say is, we have real lives and real issues and real things that happen. And so there is not any reason to feel guilty or to feel shame about losing momentum and falling off of that consistency wagon. Like, give yourself a little bit of grace. Realize that there are seasons, there are things that happen that will make it to where it is hard for us to stay consistent in the things that we feel like are important. And that's okay. What's not okay is just staying in that. We want to address it, know that like, okay, that's fine. It's a season. Like, for example, right now is like a crazy season in my life. My husband is working some really crazy hours, and it's making it to where we get up at like 3 a.m. and he doesn't get home until almost 7 p.m. and it's basically eat, bed. It's just been like the craziest thing. And it has totally thrown me off, like, in consistency in other areas of my life. But something I have to realize is I have to take a deep breath and know, okay, this is a very short season, and it is okay that things feel a little chaotic. That this doesn't mean my entire life is chaotic and my entire life is falling apart and that I'm not getting anything done. It's okay. Take a deep breath and know that it's a season. And I obviously realize that's way easier said than done. And when we're in the middle of that chaos and everything's just feeling that craziness, then it might be hard to do that. But I have found that the older I get and the more seasons that I have gone through, the easier it is for me to say, okay, listen, it's a season. Just chill out. And everything will be fine. Things will work themselves and feel back to normal soon. And I just have to remind myself that. So once you establish the fact that there are seasons in life, that there are things out of normalcy that can get us off of that consistency, that can like mess up the kind of the rhythm, what we've got going within our day, that is when we can then take a step back and figure out, what do we need to do to get back into consistency? And a couple things that I have found that really help me is, one, don't commit to doing it all in one go. I am the world's worst at being like, okay, it's Monday. I am going to totally revamp my entire schedule, my entire day. I'm going to get all this stuff done. We're going to do all of this. And then only for at the end of the day to be totally disappointed because I still veered off and got myself sidetracked and I didn't get near as what I thought I should accomplish. And then I end up feeling discouraged and I just totally go and throw it all out. And so what I have to do is I have to pick one thing. What is one thing that I need to be consistent in? And I will just choose that one thing and then I will give it a week and I will just be consistent in that one thing and try not to worry about everything else. And then the next week I will choose something else. And then the next week, something else. And the beautiful thing is that I find for me and just the way my brain works, and probably you guys are going to relate to this a little bit too, is that when you start being consistent and you start prioritizing what's important and you kind of work yourself back into more of that rhythm and routine and being consistent in things, the easier it is to add things. And you will find that as the weeks go on, you're actually being more consistent in a lot of things because that momentum of starting small and then seeing the results and being like, oh wow, I made it a week, I did this. That just kind of translates into giving you that confidence to know that you can handle something else. And then before you know it, you'll feel like things are more on track and you're actually moving forward because of that small step forward, if that makes sense. And then the last thing, which is something that I kind of addressed in the last podcast episode, but that is batching. And I know that this is going to sound a little bit contradictory because up at the top I was like that I love having the creative freedom to be able to say, oh, I'm really feeling inspired with this. I'm going to go and do this today, or I need to catch up on this and so I'm going to do this today, and not having exactly set days for each thing to kind of keep things interesting. But I do believe that we have to have some semblance of like what needs to be done, and at the beginning of our week kind of planning out like, okay, I know that I have to get these tasks done, because we all have those maintenance modes. Unfortunately, we can't always be in creative mode. I love being in creative mode where I'm able to just create the content and create beautiful photos, all the stuff that I do within my businesses. But I know that there are just maintenance stuff that I have to do. And unfortunately, those maintenance things, like staying consistent in the maintenance, that's what's going to make our businesses move forward. And so when I talk about batching for consistency, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about taking those maintenance things that we don't really necessarily love, but we have to do, and they're not really inspiring, and then putting them all together and doing them at the same time. So an example of this is blogging for me. So I tried to blog like my weddings and my podcasts and stuff, and I just do not like doing this at all. But I do find that once I will just do it and I'm like, okay, I have to do this. I hate doing this, but I have to. If I'll just go ahead and like write like 5 or 6 blog posts and just get that done while I'm in that headspace, that is way more effective for me than it is to be like, okay, so every Monday I blog or whatever. And I'm able to then schedule things out. And so my blogging is consistent and these things are consistent, and it's because I just batched it when it was like, I just got to get this done. Like, I'm piling up what I've scheduled before is running out. Like, let's just get this done. And then while I'm in that headspace, I just try to do all of it. And that will help with the consistency that's within your business, because for me, blogging helps me grow. People are finding me on Google, and that's because of the SEO of the blogs. So I know that that's important. I know that's something that moves my business forward. And so batching that to where it's like, okay, today this is what I'm going to work on. I'm just going to get this done, and I'm going to schedule it all out, and then I'm done. I don't have to think about it. I can allow my creativity to flow, and I can do other things. That is so helpful for me. And that's just one example of a lot of examples of just batching, like batching your social media stuff could also be one, or batching just like maintenance stuff, like, oh my goodness, like putting all your receipts into your finance tracker. That is not fun. But if like I'm gonna have to be in that headspace anyway because my taxes are due in a couple days, and so I've got to do that, then it's like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do the entire month, and I'm gonna be done with it, and then I don't have to think about it again for a month. And that is what helps me stay consistent when it comes to just those tasks that I don't love, but they have to be done. So anyway, I hope you found this to be helpful and that you're able to like pick and choose and glean a little bit out of this just to help with your own consistency and the rhythms through your day so that you can move your businesses forward and have that productive time where you can be present with your family without worrying that everything else is falling apart. And if you're leaving this episode like, Samantha, this all sounds really great, but I don't even know where to start. Like, everything is such a hot mess. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be consistent in. I don't know what pushes my business forward. Like, I have my passion. I know what I love, and I love to create. But this back end stuff, like all this stuff I know should make my business grow, I am so overwhelmed. I don't even know what to do. If that's you, then I would love for you to book a call with me, and let's come up with a game plan for your business so that you know what tasks you actually need to focus on in order to be consistently moving your business forward and growing it. And you can find the link to do that in the show notes. And I'm so excited because creating systems in businesses is like something I absolutely love and have had such a joy in walking clients through. So, until next time, I hope you have the most amazing and blessed week, and I cannot wait to join you in the next episode. I hope you walked away from this episode inspired to go and implement these things into your life and business. Remember to head to the show notes to get any links, guides, or discounts that were mentioned. And while you're there, leave me a 5-star review. Your feedback is the only way that I know you're enjoying and finding this podcast helpful. Until next episode, remember, it's those small daily steps that build big dreams.